The Mega Man World series is a series of 5 games released for the Game Boy, with 4 of said games copying aspects from the NES Mega Man titles, with Mega Man World 5 being a completely fresh game with completely new robot masters and no rehashed elements. I've actually played these games before, but I never beat them. Until now. It took me a couple weeks to do it, but I've officially beaten every Mega Man World game, and today I'm going to be discussing my thoughts on them. Also, I know that every YouTuber in history has said this, but please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot and motivates me. With that all said, let's start with Mega Man World 1. To start off our black and white Mega Man journey, we have Mega Man World 1. The plot is basically Dr. Wily ran out of money to make new robots, so now Mega Man has to face challenges he's already faced before, because Wily just rebuilds his old robot masters for Mega Man 1 and 2, despite him not even creating the Mega Man 1 robot masters. With that inconsistency out of the way, this game sucks. It is incredibly unforgiving and unfair with a bunch of these sections. Despite the game being really short, it makes up for it by being really difficult. Like seriously, look at this part. There is absolutely no way that any player would be able to know these spikes were coming. To make up for the difficulty in this game, the bosses are incredibly easy. Once I defeated Cutman Buster only, and I was able to absolutely shred through the other bosses. Even the Wily machine in this game is easy. Dodging these rolling things is pretty hard, but other than that, it's a piece of cake. To give this game some credit though, the boss rush has you fight the Mega Man 2 Robot Masters. Thank goodness I didn't have to play their stages, because I basically had enough with this game being me. After you fight those guys, you have this dude Anchor, who is the first of 3 Mega Man killers. He's a pretty easy dude to defeat, with his pattern being the simplest out of all the bosses. After him, I had to face the worst stage in this game. Wily Stage 2 was the most brutal, unfair, and most badly designed stage in this game. It's a sole stage that brings this game down from D tier to F tier. It is ruthless and unbearable. Disappearing blocks are horrible in this stage. Overall, this game kinda sucks in my opinion. Get what it was trying to go for by being a hard Mega Man game, but I think it took it too far. But don't worry, we're not talking about that monstrosity yet. But let's move on. Unlike the last game, Mega Man World 2 is incredibly easy. For some reason, this game is incredibly hated. I mean, I can see why, but I don't think it's as bad as the previous one, or the one after this that we don't speak of. But anyway, enough foreshadowing. The plot of this game is that Dr. Wily travels back in time to the first future timeline of Mega Man to get Quint off the menu. Meme reference aside, Dr. Wily basically gets a future Mega Man, fight present Mega Man, and defeat him. This plot does have some paradoxes, but I'm not gonna yap about that. The main thing that makes this game bad is just how boring it is. I said earlier that this game is easy, and it's really freaking easy. Every single level in this game is unbelievably short and very easy. The reason why it's like this is because the developers of this game are different from the other games. You see, Minakuchi Engineering developed Dr. Wily's Revenge, but this game was developed by Japan System House. There's quite literally nothing to say about this game, other than it being boring and easy. The Quint fight, in fact, is one of the easiest boss fights, not just in a Mega Man game, but in history. Has got the simplest pattern of all time, and it's difficult to die to him. The only thing about this game that wasn't boring was the final level, which had a pretty great theme of clocks, which is fitting because this game is about time. Once you defeat Dr. Wily again, the game is officially over, and Mega Man stares into the distance as he thinks if this game was a waste of time. In all seriousness, this is probably one of the most boring games I've played. It's not bad per se, just unoriginal, easy, and forgettable. At least it's not as bad as the other. Why does it have to be this game? I've been foreshadowing in the last 2 entries, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This game really sucks. Like, it's probably my least favorite Mega Man game other than Mega Man X7. They really messed up when making the level design in this game. It is beyond brutal. I could go on and on about every single level design failure in this game, but that would take forever. At least this game has the second Mega Man killer, Punk. He's red and he throws spinning blades at you like a knockoff version of Metal Man. The people who made this level design need to be retaught how to make video games because this is clearly not how you treat the player. If I had to choose the worst stage in this game, it would definitely be Dustman's stage. Snakeman's stage is a close second, but in reality, Dustman's stage in this game is just one of the worst things to come out of the entire series. It's aggravating. I was so glad to beat this game because it took me a couple hours. This is easily the worst game so far. Okay, finally, it took 3 games, but we finally have a game that's good. The level design is actually good in this game. The levels aren't too short, the levels aren't too hard, the levels are too easy, the levels aren't too long. It's the perfect medium difficulty Mega Man game that I longed for playing all these Game Boy games. This time, the Mega Man killer is Ballad. It's way cooler than Anchor and the Walmart version of Metal Man. In the first 4 stages, you collect 4 letters to get B. Then, in the other 4 stages, you collect 4 letters to get the word Wily to escape the castle. Then, you go to Dr. Wily's spaceship, and this time there is a boss rush before the final boss. After that, you fight a humongous Dr. Wily robot who didn't copy Sonic 3's Egg Robo because this game came out before that one. So that technically means that Sonic 3 straight up copied this game. But anyway, the boss music slaps. It's a super catchy and fitting final battle song. After you fight the big boy, Mega Man tries to escape the spaceship, but his buster can't break through the final wall. But then Ballad comes to sacrifice himself to save Mega Man. Never has the series up to this point had such an epic moment like this. Mega Man World 4 is the first game I would consider in the series being pretty good. The last game is also solid, so let's take a look at that one. This is the final game in the Mega Man World series, and it's easily the best one by far. The plot of this game is that there is a bunch of new robots called Star Droids trying to rule over the universe, and so it's Mega Man's job to stop them. This game introduces a new weapon called the Super Arm that replaces your normal charge shot. It's a pretty cool weapon. The Star Droids are all named after the different planets of the solar system, including Pluto, despite it being not a planet nowadays. This is a really cool concept, and I ended up really enjoying it. From start to finish, it was just a solid game, good level design and level gimmicks. There's nothing special to it, but it's cool. At one point, you even get to control Mega Man flying on Rush Jet to Wily's spaceship. Something else cool is that before the boss rush, you fight the previous Mega Man killer from the other Mega Man Game Boy games. Even Quint for some reason. But once you fight Dr. Wily, he has 4 phases, which is pretty long for a final boss battle. And you even fight this robot called Sunstar who claims to be behind the Star Droids all along, which technically makes this final boss 5 phases long. Star does not joke around. He's actually pretty difficult. But once you fight him, he sacrifices himself, wrapping up this Mega Man World pentology. Overall, my thoughts on this series are mixed. The first 3 games were absolutely awful and I will never play them again. And World 5, pretty solid. It was satisfying, especially after how garbage Mega Man World 3 was. But with all that being said, here's how I would rank these games from worst to best. Number 5, Mega Man World 3. Number 4, Mega Man World 1. Number 3, Mega Man World 2. Number 2, Mega Man World 4. And number 1 is Mega Man World 5. If you enjoyed this video, then check out my other videos. They aren't as good as this one, but I still think you would enjoy them. This is my first video, so excuse me if you thought the video was bad. Anyway, I'll see you all next time.